welcome to Council Catch-Up here on WSTO TV. I'm your host, Derek Westby, and we're here to talk about the February 11th, 2025 City Council meeting. I'm here with Mayor Swadley. Welcome.
Morning.
So, we had the call to order and the certification of compliance with open records laws and public comment period. Communications, did anything interesting happen under communications?
We had a couple of communications. There is a Juneteenth event that is scheduled for June 22nd at United Methodist Church. And then also Sarah and Andrea came to our meeting, and they're organizers of the Spread Goodness Day. So we have a proclamation in there. Spread Goodness Day will be March 14th, and there'll be all sorts of activities. That's a day I'm normally doing coffee with the mayor, which I'll do at the senior center at 10 o'clock. And then at 1:30, the McCloskeys will be playing at the senior center. And then also there'll be some activities within the school district.
All right. So we'll move on to the old business portion of the agenda with item number 6, Ordinance 2 of 2025, approving a planned development, general development plan over in the Eastwood Estates. First of all, what is a general development plan?
A general development plan is basically kind of the layout and the features of the building structure that's going on a piece of property. And in this particular case, this is a duplex that had already been built. And there was some confusion about how our ordinance read as it related to street frontage requirements. We had two requirements. One was for street frontage and one was for lot frontage or lot width. And the duplex was built, and it was built at about 40 square feet of street frontage, and it really should be 50 for each unit. And so the plan is to get this one reclassified as a planned development, and then all the other ones that are in that neighborhood that have previously been built, and then we can record that, and then moving forward with the new ordinance that we passed, all the other duplexes that will be built will require the 50 feet of width for the lot and the street frontage, so there won't be any misunderstanding going forward.
All right, and item number 7, Ordinance 3, talks about two-family residential districts zoning. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so that was related to the previous one. So there was 3 things that we did. We basically took the new unit that was built and make that a planned development, so it would be able to be used as a duplex. Otherwise, it would have had been split up as like a condominium. And then there were other buildings that had previously been built that we made into a planned development, so those were in compliance. And then the ordinance itself, which was the 50-foot street width, was passed.
All right. And then Ordinance 4 of 2025 to amend the controlled intersections.
So we had a request down at the corner of Isham and 4th Street, where the new development of Magnolia Springs is, to put in a 4-way stop sign. And we've been monitoring that, and as the development has been expanding, became obvious that it was going to become a public safety issue. So the ordinance is in there to basically allow us to install the 4-way stop.
All right. Under new business, item number 9, Resolution 5 of 2025, to approve a Class B beer and Class C wine license for BWEO Events LLC. Where is that, and what does that mean?
That is located inside of the Stoughton Wellness Athletic Center, or the SWAC as we call it. You might recall years ago there was a banquet area in that facility, and the owners of Wendigo and Famous Yetis have taken that space and made it into like a gathering area, so you could have a graduation party or a birthday party or some sort of a reception area there. And basically they wanted to get a beer and wine license so they could serve beverages during those events.
All right. And then we have items 10 and 11, which are substantially related to each other. Resolution 3 of 2025 and Resolution 6 of 2025, both talking about some case manager positions at the senior center.
So for the last several years now, we've had 2 part-time case managers at the senior center position, and we have had a difficult time keeping the one position filled, and we recently had a retirement in the other position, so we decided it would be advantageous for us to combine those 2 positions into one. Same number of hours, same responsibilities, but we believe from a recruitment and retention standpoint, it positions us better in order to be able to keep that position filled. Typically what happens is if somebody leaves that position, takes several weeks, if not months, to get somebody onboarded and really into the swing of things to handle the case management, and we end up getting a backlog. So we're hoping that this will provide some more continuity and minimize the backlog of cases. And then the second part of it was there was some additional expense that occurred because of combining the positions that really had to do with the benefits that go with it. And the senior center has a gift fund that collects interest, and at least for the short term, we're going to use that interest earned in order to pay the difference until we can figure out a way to incorporate it into our general budget. We feel like that money will be as sustainable as long as the interest rates stay where they're at, but if they do drop down to a lower point, we may have to figure out a way to fund it through the general fund, but I believe we'll have time to do that.
All right. Item 12, which was Resolution 7 of 2025, to update the comprehensive plan as outlined by state statutes.
Yeah, so this was introduced at the Planning Commission a couple months ago, and then we're going to have a more detailed presentation at the next City Council meeting. Becker Professional Services is going to initiate the comprehensive plan update, which we're required to do every 10 years by state law. We're going to do a couple years early and do it over a 2-year period because we want to update our ordinances and we want them to be consistent with the comp plan. And a big part of the comp plan is public participation. So we're going to be looking for individuals and groups that want to participate in that plan to get feedback on how we want Stoughton to look for years to come. And those really help guide the city when we're making decisions on growth and land use.
Okay. Item number 13, which was Ordinance 5 of 2025, a first reading to amend the municipal code relating to the City Hall parking lot.
So the City Hall parking lot over by where the drive-through is, there's going to be some limited parking there, which will be coming up at a future meeting. This particular one here is for the EV charging stations. And this was something that went through Public Safety several months ago, and it's just now finding its way on the council agenda. And basically what we wanted to do is put a limitation of 4 hours on the EV charging stations so more people can utilize them. And the first reading was waived, which means they could take action on it last night. It takes a 2/3 vote to waive the first reading. And that motion was made and passed, so that was approved. The signs are already up, and we're getting a lot of use on the EV charging stations to the point where we rearranged the parking lot last fall to better accommodate it and to minimize spillover. We had people that were parking in the post office parking lot and stretching the charging hoses. So we've reconfigured the parking lot, which has not only improved the EV charging stations, but has improved the position of where the accessible parking is as well. It's right where the ramp is instead of crossing the parking lot. So I think it turned out really well, and this is really just trying to tidy that area up and make it more efficient.
All right, and then Ordinance 6 of 2025, again, a first reading was for wastewater utility 2025 rate adjustment.
Yeah, so Stoughton Utilities periodically goes to a rate adjustment, and this particular one is for the wastewater. They also do water and electrical, and basically they have parameters that they follow to get their rate of return on basically the investments they have to make and to keep their operations going. And they're required to have that approved through an ordinance. And we try to do it periodically, so it's kind of a incremental increases instead of waiting 10 years and having a huge jump in utility costs, which is really challenging for people to budget. So this is something that will come to us periodically, and it was just time that it needed to be done. And what we're finding with utilities, just like everybody else, their costs have gone up, the materials, the labor, the supplies, in order to operate the system. So we have to do these rate increases to make sure that we can continue to provide things in an efficient manner.
All right. Item 15, Resolution 8 of 2025, a resolution on human dignity.
Yeah, so there was an effort made by a few alders that kind of came together to really try to reiterate to people in the community that are feeling marginalized or unappreciated because of things that have happened, on immigration issues. Stoughton has a strong tradition of having immigrants that founded our city years ago, and the resolution was just put in there to make people know that we're a welcoming community and that we appreciate everybody that lives and comes to Stoughton. And this is just something that we want to use to really remind us and guide us on our daily activities, to be sensitive to what's going on in our community.
Okay. Item 16, discussion and possible action on a depot subcommittee.
Yeah, so there was some conversation at the last city council meeting about the Historical Society and the future of the depot and city's participation into the relocation plans now that the offer has been accepted. And I've had some meetings with leadership from the Historical Society, and in the Finance Committee previous to this council meeting, there was some discussion about what the relocation plan would look like. There's a resolution in a draft form, and they're still putting together the specifics of their relocation plan. And they had made a request to have somebody from the city council to be kind of a liaison for the city and the Historical Society. So we just put it out there that we're looking for somebody to volunteer to do that.
Okay. And then the last item, item number 17, discussion and possible action regarding the J.T. Klein tax incremental financing request.
So this one here, the city attorney gave an overview of kind of where we were at on the negotiation. And then there was a few details that we had to talk about in closed session to give the city attorney some direction to take back to the J.T. Klein team. We've been talking with them for the past several months about basically a tax incremental financing agreement, which will ultimately lead to some sort of a memorandum of understanding and hopefully a developer's agreement, so we can build the apartments out on the 5-acre lot over on 51 West on the west side. So the city attorney was given direction by city council in the closed session of what they would like to see, and I think we're getting pretty close to a decision point on this one. So I'm looking forward in anticipation of hopefully coming to an agreement.
All right. That's all we had for the February 11th, 2024 City Council meeting. We'll see you next time on Council Catch Up right here on WSTO TV.